to the Pastor Chira Show. I'm Pastor Chira, and today we launch. We launch into new territory. We launch into new mindset. We launch into new relationship. Are you ready to launch out? Come on and launch out with me as we go into this conversation on today. And it is a new year. Yes! Happy New Year, everyone. We made it through 2023. It had its ups, it had its downs, as every year does, right? And we are in a new year. We are starting something new, and we are doing something new here at the Pastor Chira Show. Well, maybe not so new, because we still have our Artist of the Month and our Song of the Month. And we are starting off fresh with someone that I had the amazing pleasure to hear over the holidays. Yes. And when I tell you, well, you know what? I'm not even going to tell you. What I'm going to do is I'm going to introduce you to, yes, none other than Jay Wade. Yes! Hi! Oh.
Hello.
Hi! How are you?
Hi. I am doing great. How are you?
You look amazing. You look amazing.
Thank you so much. Oh my God, so do you.
I am so excited to be here with you, to have this conversation about you, your music, what you've been doing, how you've been doing it, where you've been, where you're going. But I'm so excited because it's so much that we're about to unpack. But right now, can you just introduce yourself to the viewing audience?
Yes, absolutely. Well, hey guys, my name is Jay Wade, otherwise on other streaming services, Jayseph, kind of like Joseph, but Jayseph. And I'm a music artist, a Philadelphia native. I'm out here doing some things, or trying to, and I'm here with the lovely Miss Pastor Chira. It's about to be really fun. I'm excited.
Listen, I tell people all the time, you're not trying, you're doing. Because if you were trying, you wouldn't be out there and nobody would hear you. You'd still be somewhere in the back trying, but you're doing it. You're doing it because you're out there, you're making impact, they are hearing you, they are feeling your music, and it's amazing. And I love your Jayseph. And I think that was one of the things that got me at the show. Because you were like, Jayseph, like Joseph. And I was like, all right, he got me.
Yeah. Yeah, I had to break it down for a lot of people. I didn't think a lot of people would get that too easily. So I was like, let me figure this out.
But where did it come from? Where did Jayseph come from? How did you come up with that?
Well, it actually wasn't myself. I got to give this prop to one of my fellow singers in the a cappella group that I was in back at Temple. When they first let people in the group, there was always like this name of endearment that they gave all the noobs or the new people in the group. And I was one of those people that, you know, I didn't find my name so well, or at least everyone else couldn't find it so well. They'd be like, oh, well, we're still getting to know Jay, so like, we're going to figure it out. And then I had a member say Jayseph to me one time, and literally like unanimously everyone in the room either was like, oh my God, or was like, it was just kind of like a toss up. And then I think once that happened, it just like stuck, because it was like, this was the name that was just kind of tossed up, wasn't it? Yeah, well, we're going to do it now. It fits now. And I'm like, you know what? You're right. So whenever they talked to me, or whenever we had our little discussions, or we called anybody by our names of endearment, I would get Jayseph. And I was not mad at that. It felt very biblical. So I was like, let's do something like that.
Exactly. Like, and it stuck and stayed. It stuck and stayed. Yeah. Because you do have that leader voice. You have that leadership capacity, and Joseph was a leader. He was one of those leaders. So You you just got it. You just got it. And
thank you.
You are the lead in your band. You said you started with an a cappella group at Temple?
Yes. I was at Temple for 3 full years, and I was a part of an a cappella group called Owl Capella. They are fantastic. You can look them up now. Owl Capella is a really punny name. And I started with them, and in my years doing that and doing some schooling with music as my major, I auditioned for a wedding band or a live entertainment band that functions in the city, but they go out to anywhere that they're asked and if they're welcomed. And I performed with them for on to 7 years now, I think. And I've had experience performing with them, and it's been great. So once I fell into that realm of like being able to sing with just vocalists as musicians and then actual like instrumentalists for musicians, it was kind of just like, wow, these two play so differently, but so like hand in hand. And that's when I was doing my performances in Philadelphia in this place called Christmas Village, where I met you, where I kind of had both of those things going on. I mean, now it's kind of weird to have a cappella and live band instruments at one time, but I kind of pride myself in doing and working with a lot of vocalists. So I included background vocals, and I had my closest friends coming up and helping me do that, like being in a band. I had my guitarist, my keyboard player, my bassist, drummer that I think you and I both know. It was just fantastic. A bunch of vocalists, just a little bit. And it kind of just like opened up something for me because I realized that I wanted to do these type of performances, and it was really nice because there wasn't like a price to come see the show. It was kind of just like an open space where it could just be filled with different spirits and beautiful souls that just want to hear music or just want to spend time with their loved ones while hearing music. So I was like, you know what, this feels good. So I kind of wanted to dive in that more, and that's what I'm going to do this year. But we'll talk more about that later.
Listen, and it was amazing because the crowd just continued to grow. There was already a crowd there, but it just continued to swell as you all were up there and you were just jiving and singing, and the music was coming. And I mean, the babies were standing in the front, and I mean, they were just did you see them? My
favorite part, it was so sweet. It was so sweet. One of them gave me $1, and I was like, no, keep your $1.
I know. They kept running up, and it was so cute, but they were really into the music. And the other thing that I saw was that it went across not just cultures, but it went across ethnicities. Like there was somebody from everywhere that was there hearing the music and what you all were doing. Is that something that you purpose, or is that something that just organically happens?
I would like to say that it's more something that I'm blessed to experience when it happens, because it never feels as genuine when you're building to perform for these types of crowds, when you're like anticipating to do so. So you're like, oh, I need to do something that reaches out to this audience or this audience. Right. It was like, you know what, the people that come are the people that come, and then that should be enough to let you know what you can grab and the attention that you grab, or the hearts that you kind of grab attention of. It was very fun to get that aspect in. It's like once I realized that the people were everyone was so different, and it was just an eclectic collection of just beings, I was like, this is what this was supposed to be. And now it makes sense to me. Yes. This is what it was meant to be.
Because isn't that what music is anyway? Music is eclectic. It just is what it is, and it pulls out so much out of us. It can pull out our happiness, our sadness, our joys, our melancholies. It pulls out so much depending on what we're listening to and where it's coming from and where we are at that moment, right? How has
yeah.
music transformed you in your time? Like, how did you get into being a musician? Did you fall into it? Have you practiced it for a while? Like, how did it come to be?
I guess you can say I kind of crawled into it because I was kind of young when I first started to experience myself with music. I was always in a house that was just very expressive through music. Like my mother sings. This is a picture that she painted, by the way. She's right behind me. I love that. She sings. My brother sings. He doesn't like to claim it that much, but he sings. We've just been so musical. My grandmother, we would always just be singing around each other. And I guess at a young age, I knew that was something that I was like, oh, I think I'm kind of good at this. I think, let me just kind of dive into this. And mind you, like, I'm just we high off the ground. And I was auditioning for like these obscure singing TV shows. And my mom took us to, because she knew that was our interest. My brother wants to be an actor. And I kind of started there. And then as I grew older, I was like the first young man in my high school choir, or not my high school, my middle school choir. And my choir director then gave me this application and said, hey, you should apply for this high school that's, for performing arts. You could sing there. And I was like, oh my goodness, yes, I'm going to do that. Went there, got in, thank God. And I graduated in 2016 with just the best musical instructor that I've ever worked with. And from that point on, I went to Temple for music. I didn't necessarily stay cozy inside one major, but I did do music there often. Talk about it, because we can for a while.
Right.
And I did that for a while. And again, as I was in college doing some of those years, I discovered the acapella group. I discovered this band that I wanted to join. And then I discovered that, hey, I can make my own music. Like, I have a lot of great musical artists, friends that came out of my high school. And it was really encouraging that I was like, oh, this can stem longer then. I thought that once I got out of high school, I'm like, who's giving me the record deal? Like, it just didn't work that way. People were building. And I was like, you know what? This is very inspiring. So for doing music for that long, it was like, now I have to just chisel through the steps of becoming confident in the music that I make or the music that I partake in.
Right. And that's a whole process in itself. I mean, just coming into ourselves and what we do and finding our niche, right? Of what genre do I want to be in? But we're going to go to a commercial break. And on the other side, we're going to hear a little bit of your genre and how you got there and what you do and the music that you make. And so we're going to a commercial and we will, we're going to keep that live. We will be right back.
I ain't feeling like I need you, 'cause all it's gotten me is trouble. But I'll die if I don't feel you. Give in to me if you're able. Yeah, isolation is a habit. I just need a drink to keep me up. Sticking to you like a magnet. Give me a shove when you've had enough. Give me one reason I shouldn't force myself to take what little I have and run. I just want more. Give it all I can till my body's gone numb.
We're back, and we're heading right back into our conversation with Jay Wade. Yes. But really, Jayseph. Yes.
Oh, yes.
And that, I mean, because it talks to a lot. We talked about it being, kind of biblical and kind of where it came from. And you played a biblical part in a play, not recently. What was that?
Yes, I actually did I played a disciple in Godspell. I played Nick uh earlier in the year of last year, and then I played Mark in Rent a little later in the year, and that was kind of crazy thing. Those are two different things, but like
Wow.
playing Nick was kind of cool because I was essentially a disciple, and I got to listen to and make up these I guess you want to say metaphors to some of these biblical
Mm.
stories. We were talking about, just, forgiveness and like not being so harsh on other people. It was just so fun because we did it all through jokes.
Yeah.
Um, and it was very enlightening because it was one of my first roles back on the stage. And
Hmm.
that got me to revisit back at that same theater. Thank you to the Milton to helm the production of Rent as Mark.
Oh, wow.
So that was like a whole new thing. I played a
Yeah.
side character and I was doing my thing and I was having a good time with all these amazing actors. And then next thing you know, it was my turn to lead one. And I was like, hold on. It's a lot. But it was really fun.
Who told me
Really
to do
fun
that?
doing that.
Ah!
No, who told me to do that? Because it's also enlightening. Like, again, going back to when I wanted to, or I did more shows then. I was doing, again, Rent and Godspell, and knowing how those musicals work, they're both like contemporary based music, which helps a lot to tie into music that I do today or just modern music in general. You have rock in Rent, and then you just had regular contemporary with some musical theater influences in Godspell.
Right.
Some even might say gospel influences in Godspell.
Hmm.
It was just really cool to dabble in, just to know that I can do it.
Yeah.
So once I realized I can do musical theater, but then next thing you know, I'm singing about dancing somewhere, it's like,
Oh,
okay,
this.
I can do these things. It was kind of like lifting a barrier for me to be able to tie in my music versus what I can do on the stage.
Have you been able to express yourself differently through the things that you were doing and what you're bringing out? Are you finding other things out about yourself as you're on this musical journey?
Oh man, yes, so much. Oh my goodness, so much. I would love to start like even with just my song "Numb," discovering that I could feel such a way and I can word things the way that I did in that song. While it's not, Maya Angelou, it's still my words that felt so true to me and I felt could connect to other people. I can honestly say it wasn't a conscious decision to try to relate to people who will be listening, but it was just something that I wanted to be transparent about. It was essentially just about, abusing not yourself and like in a direct term, but kind of just abusing the world around you because of how you feel, or just like using the world around you to make an excuse for how you're treating yourself. And it was like, Numb was so new to me. Numb was very new. I worked with this really great artist who helped produce it, named Lukey. Oh my goodness, he's amazing. That was like my first time saying like, oh my goodness, I can express this. I can express this way. And when I first released it, didn't know how many people it actually, reached out to, but all my close friends, they would tell me that they liked it. And then they said, oh, this was really kind of deeper on the deeper side. I wasn't expecting that for like your first release. And that's when I knew. I was like, oh, so this is going to be heard. I can be as fluid as I can in my creating for my music, but if the right message is there, it will be heard by the right people. And I was like, I have to pay attention to that now
It'll
and
be
make
heard.
music with intention.
Yes, because it will be heard by the right people for the right reasons in order to do the right thing.
Yeah. Yes.
And so
And
a song, like even when you said the song, the name, Numb, I was like, wow. Because there are, especially now in this time that we are living in, there are so many that are just walking around just numb to
Mm-hmm.
the things that are happening around us, the things that are happening to us, the things that are happening, just happenings. And it's like,
Mm-hmm.
are we even aware of what's happening anymore? Or are we just numb to it?
Mm-hmm.
And how
Yeah.
do we come out of this numbness? How do we start to feel again?
Yeah.
And
Yeah. And
that's what it sounded like the song was to me.
yeah, you nailed it. It was very specific to that type of sensation where it was like, the world is feeling really heavy right now. The song came out originally in 2019, around like right before COVID. So I didn't get a chance to log in that experience to my music yet because it didn't happen. But at
Right.
that time, I was really struggling with where I was in my development. Like I had just left school, or I was almost about to leave school at that time. I was really down on like funding, and I wasn't feeling a lot of support from a different angles. So I was kind of like throwing myself to things that I probably had no business throwing myself into. I drank a little bit more than usual. I did so and so a little bit more than usual. And I was just like, this doesn't feel like me. I think I'm just doing this to escape the world, and it was not an escape myself in a way. I was like, I could have called myself out on a lot of things, but I chose not to, because I was like, why, when people, either pay more attention to me this way or people leave me alone this way more, it was just, I stopped feeling the normal social interaction of people and support. And I wrote that song to kind of get that off my chest. It didn't really go that much off my chest, but it did feel good to have it be somewhere that I could listen back to it. I listened back to it the other day and I was like, wow, I still have some of these feelings. Like it really will still speak if it applies. Again, when the song came out, I was, one, very nervous because it was my first track I ever dropped. And two, I felt like I wasn't, up to par with any of my other peers who were doing music. So I kind of questioned myself doing that. So there was a lot of, anxiety behind putting it out. But when it came out, it felt so welcomed. And I had never experienced that feeling before. So it was like, you can say these things and no one's going to, crucify you for doing that. You're literally allowed to be or feel these emotions. And it was just very eye-opening to how it was received. It wasn't like received by the world,
Right.
but just the people that were close to me who didn't know those things. Do those things now.
No. 'Cause it is
Oh, what's
now
you about to say?
out to the world. The world
It is out to anyone who's trying to hear.
And they are hearing what you are creating and what is coming up out of you, what the Creator has created you to create. The Creator created you to create, and you are on this journey of doing just what you're supposed to do. And I'm excited about you. I'm excited about your future. I'm excited about all that is coming, not just your music, but your acting and you just being seen, heard, felt as the authentic you that you are.
Yeah.
Because you're going places, sir. You are.
Thank you so much.
You are going places. Yes.
Manifesting.
There it is. Manifesting. Yes. I'm so excited. I thank you so much for sitting down and having this conversation to inspire, encourage, and just be there for other people, because there are those that are going to hear your story and they are going to be ignited to do more, just like you have. Just like you have.
Thank you.
So thank you so much for sharing. Listen,
absolutely.
How can people be in touch with you? Where can they come see you? How can they get your music? All things Jayseph. Go.
Well, if you guys want to follow me on anything, I'm primarily going to be on my Instagram this year. I promise to be on there more on my updates. If you are checking out my Instagram, which you can follow me at JAY_SEPH_DW. If you follow me there, I will probably have videos posted of the last performances that I met Miss Pastor Chira at, and all my updates for music that are coming out. I have a link in my bio that will lead you guys straight to the 3 songs that I have released, one being Numb, the other one being called Honeydew, and the other one being called Funny. They're all very different in sound, but they're so fun, and I really would love for you guys to check it out. Again, my Instagram, JAY_SEPH_DW. Yeah, that's where you'll get most of my updates.
Listen, and we are going to stay tuned for every update that you do, because we need to stay updated, yes, on what you do. And I got a little insider, so I'll just, keep in touch with him too and be like, yo, what's going on?
Oh, yes, you'll be the first to know.
Yeah. Listen, you are an inspiration, and I thank you for being an inspiration to others on today through the Pastor Chira Show. I'm excited with you. I'm excited for you. And I'm excited that we are on this journey. Because, did I say we?
Too.
Yep, I'm coming with you. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, come on. Come on.
Thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you.
Thank you. And listen, that was Jayseph. I want you to know he is amazing, and you need to follow. Listen, inspiration is inspiration, and we get it from wherever we need to get it from. We just need to learn how to not shut down what we think and to open up to what we don't know. Because when we open up our feelings so that we are no longer numb to the things that are going on around us. It's time to feel again. It's time to live again. It's time to go again. Let's do it. I'm Pastor Chira. This is the Pastor Chira Show, and I'll see you next week. God bless. Coming up on the Pastor Chira Show,